Alright, let's dive into some crazy NFL drama and one of the most shocking, yet totally avoidable, blunders we've seen this season. I'm talking about none other than Jonathan Taylor's fumble against the Denver Broncos, an event that might go down as the costliest drop in NFL history. Trust me, grab your popcorn, because this one's a wild ride. The scene: Colts vs. Broncos, a game of missed opportunities. So, the Indianapolis Colts are up against the Denver Broncos, and things are already getting tense. The Colts, who are fighting for their playoff lives, look like they might be taking control. Enter Jonathan Taylor, who has a clear path to the end zone and seems to be headed for a 41-yard touchdown run. Easy, right? I mean, it's Jonathan Taylor, he's been nothing short of spectacular all season. But, oh no, just as he nears the goal line, he decides to take a little vacation and, in the process, drops the football, not even under pressure. Just a classic, oops, moment. This wasn't a hit or an arm tackle that caused the drop. Nope, Jonathan Taylor casually lets go of the ball. With no defenders around him, the football just falls out of his hands and rolls into the end zone, where it then goes out of bounds. Initially, the refs called it a touchdown, but after reviewing it, they quickly realized that Taylor didn't actually cross the goal line with the ball. They reversed the call and, yep, that's right, a touchback instead of a touchdown. And just like that, the Broncos get the ball back, and the Colts' dreams of a playoff push just took a serious hit. The fallout from the fumble. Now, let's break this down a bit more because this isn't just about a simple fumble. Oh no, this blunder was the turning point in the game. The Colts had the chance to go up 20-7, which would have been a massive swing in their favor. But instead, thanks to that costly mistake, they didn't get the 6 points. Instead, the Broncos seized the opportunity and ended up scoring 24 unanswered points, cruising to a 31-13 victory. So, let's do a little math here. Folks, if Taylor had secured that touchdown, the Colts would have been ahead by 13 points, and that could have been a whole different ballgame. But instead, they ended up with the game-changing fumble. And now they're 3 games back in the AFC wildcard race. Yikes. Jonathan Taylor's reaction: owning up to the blunder. After the game, Taylor owned up to the mistake. And honestly, I give him credit for handling it like a pro. It just can't happen, he said, showing real accountability. No matter the game, no matter the scenario, this is something that should never happen. And he's right. Whether you're in a preseason game or the Super Bowl, you've got to hold on to the football when you're that close to the end zone. As for the impact of the fumble, Taylor said, "I just know we had 6 less points. If I had crossed that goal line, we would have had 6 more points. I don't know how it would have played out after that, but we definitely would have been in a better position." The big picture: a playoff heartbreaker. This loss was a crushing blow for the Colts' playoff hopes. They came into the game 6-7, and a win would have kept them in the hunt for the wild card spot. But now, after falling to 6-8, they're in a tight race with the Broncos, Chargers, and Texans. That 3-game deficit might as well be a mountain at this point. It's especially painful when you look at the schedule ahead. The Colts had 3 winnable games left: the Titans, Giants, and Jaguars. Instead of being in control of their destiny, they now need to rely on some miracles from other teams. And that's a tough ask. Fantasy football players, the real victims. Let's talk about fantasy football for a second. If you had Jonathan Taylor on your roster, you were probably feeling great watching him break free for that touchdown run. But then, bam, the fumble happens, and you're left with 2 points instead of 10.1 points that you would have gotten from a touchdown. For all you fantasy football warriors out there, this is the ultimate betrayal, right? That 41-yard touchdown would have been a huge boost to fantasy teams everywhere. But instead, you got stuck with a touchback. Talk about a kick in the fantasy gut. Another dropped football on Sunday. What's going on? So, let's talk about something that may be even crazier than Taylor's fumble. This wasn't the only dropped ball of the day. In a mind-blowing coincidence, Bengals safety Jordan Battle had a similar mishap earlier in the day. Battle was running a 61-yard fumble return for a touchdown and, guess what, he dropped the ball just short of the goal line. Can we get a collective? What is happening? Now, in Battle's case, it wasn't intentional. He wasn't trying to showboat or celebrate too early, he just messed up. But it's still a pretty bad look. And it makes you wonder, are NFL players really learning from past mistakes? Apparently not yet. In fact, this kind of play has become almost legendary in the NFL. Remember Deshaun Jackson back in 2008? He was dancing at the goal line against the Cowboys and, instead of scoring a touchdown, he fumbled the ball before crossing the line. To this day, that moment is one of the most memorable mistakes in NFL history. So yeah, we've seen this play before, and yet, it keeps happening. Why do these drops keep happening? You'd think by now, NFL players would have learned their lesson. But no, whether it's showboating, lack of focus, or just sheer carelessness, these mistakes happen, and they cost teams dearly. And at this level, where every point counts, you just can't afford to be sloppy with the football. I mean, come on, guys, you've got to treat the ball like it's gold when you're that close to the goal line. Get that touchdown, and then go celebrate. Don't celebrate before you've crossed the line, unless you want to see your team go from playoff contention to a serious setback in a matter of seconds. So, what's next for Jonathan Taylor and the Colts? After this game, it's going to be tough for the Colts to bounce back, with only 3 games left and so much ground to make up. They'll need a miracle to squeeze into the playoffs. But the real question is, can they hold on to the football when it matters most? They've got to move on from this mistake and focus on their remaining games. But Jonathan Taylor's fumble will probably haunt them for the rest of the season, if not longer. Closing thoughts. Hold on to the ball. Folks, I'm sure we all agree. The moral of the story here is simple: hold on to the ball. No matter what, if you're running for a touchdown, just focus on crossing that line first before you start dancing. Because, trust me, dropping the ball before you cross the goal line? Yeah, that's a quick way to lose a game and ruin your playoff chances. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. We'll be back with more NFL content soon. So don't miss out, stay tuned, and as always, keep that football in your hands, preferably across the goal line. See you next time.